Hello, everybody. Just waiting for the everything to get caught up. Turn down my phone, turn down my tablet, make sure all that's good. Hope everyone's doing good tonight. All right. Tonight we're going to make a mini slimline or a slimline card using the Sprinkled with Love stamps. I don't think I'm going to use the dies in the conventional way, but I wanted to show them. Here's the Sprinkled with Love stamp set. That's this awesome donut set. And here's the coordinating dies. I did use this to cut out not a mask per se, but kind of like a mask. Not a mask, a stencil. So that I might try to use, but haven't decided if we're going to use them or not. So I'm just going to put those off to the side. But for the most part, we're going to make, it's technically a 2-layer card. Hi, Angie. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Technically, hi, Jill. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoyed. Don't hesitate to ask any questions. I'm going to stamp on a layer and color and then put it on a card. So technically it's a 2-layer card, but there's only going to be 1 layer. But we're going to do some masking. And I did go ahead and I already stamped and cut out my masks this morning. Because one thing, if you haven't used masks before, you don't need them to be super detailed. I used an older ink pad. I've had this ink pad forever. And so it needs to be re-inked. So it just needs the outline. And then when I cut my masks, I cut right through the black line, like down the middle as close as possible. Hi, Tina. You got the kit with the stamp and die set. So, okay, awesome, Jill. This is a great set. I don't have the samples that I made for my other cards because I sent them into the store, but they are on my Instagram, which is Sugar Cards. My name is Candi, and I've been on the design team now for a couple years, for those of you who are new, and I just absolutely love working with Brutus Monroe products. I just got in the tri-blend markers, and I swatched them out. I got this chart off the Spectrum Noir website and printed this is on the Perfect Blend paper. It's my favorite paper for blending. Now I see there might be a little bit where it's bleeding. That I believe happened because I overcolored and I didn't let this dry completely with the ink. And so that can help. But we're going to use some of these markers tonight, and then I'm going to use some Copics as well because I don't have the right browns. All right, let's get started. So when you are stamping and using a mask, the image you want in the front needs to be the first one you stamp down. Angie, I am excited to use them. This is going to be my very first time using them other than for when I swatched. I will give you a little secret. I have the Olo markers coming. They're like 2 hours away from me. They're not going to be delivered till tomorrow or Friday. I was hoping they were going to come today when I saw them in Iowa so I could use them tonight, but they didn't arrive today, so we'll use the tri-blends. So what we're going to do is we're going to use, oops, this is not right. We are going to use these stamps to spell out the word love. And I'm going to use the long john for the L, the full donut for the O, the heart for the V, and I'm going to use this cut donut for the E, even though it's really not going to be an E, because I'm going to pretend it. We're going to just use that as our imagination because somebody ate it. So I lined them up earlier just to see how I wanted them. And so I know that I want this on the top, the heart on the top. So that's going to be the first image I stamp. And I am going to go off to the side because I did find a die in my stash that says you, so we can put that on here. And I didn't want to cover up all of the image. So just so I have that, I know I should do this inside. I'm just going to line them up, kind of. I want them to overlap a little bit. So I'm going to actually do it this way so I can get that heart picked up first. Yeah, Angie, I'm excited. I tried them once. I really liked them. And I do have Copics, but they're drying out and I need to replace some of them. And so instead of replacing them, when I saw that they were carrying the Olos in the Brutus Monroe store, I was like, that's it. So I did get them on order right away. All right, so I've got them, and this is a brand new Raven Detail ink pad. It's my favorite for Copic coloring. I'm going to open it because my other one, like I said, I've had it for a very long time. That was a crash. That's all new. I've never even opened it before. And it's going to be super fresh. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp that down. See, it's super fresh. And I'm going to let it set for just a minute before I put my mask on it. I don't necessarily want to heat. It doesn't take too long, but I don't want it to. So I'm just going to let that dry a couple of seconds because it's a super new ink pad. So it's juicy. And I'm just going to wipe my stamp off. I've been using these stamps a lot, so they need a good bath. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull out my masks. And I have them all pre-cut here. And then one nice thing, if you've never used masks, you do not have to use masking paper. I like to grit masking paper. You can use Post-it notes or low-tack tape if you wanted to. There's a couple low-tack tapes on the market that will work. Post-it tape. I just like the masking paper because I have it and I like how I can peel it apart. And sometimes it's easier to use with like ink blending and things like that. Okay, so next I want the O, and I'm going to reline these up again. So make sure, because I do want them to overlap a little bit. So this image is going to be towards the front and the O is going to be behind. So we're going to put that there, and then we're going to put the E here. And I'm not going to worry about too much if they're like lined up perfect. I even cut masks out for all of them, even though I know I didn't need all of them. I just thought that I would. I'll store the masks I don't use in with my stamp set. And the masks that I do use, I will just add to the back of my stamp set. So now we've got that. I may need to do it one more time. I know it's a super new ink, but I was not smart and I heat embossed on my Misty and warped it a little bit, and I haven't replaced it yet. So there is a couple of spots that are a little, sometimes I have a hard time getting the images down. So we're gonna wipe those off. How's everybody doing? Hi, Mom, you actually got to comment tonight. You don't just have to watch. And my sister made it. Hi, Annie, how are you? I'm super excited. We are making a love card out of donuts. So next, I don't need my mask for this one right away, but I cut it out because I was thinking about doing some ink blending. So here's my O, my circle, and now this one you might have to do a little fidgeting, but I'm going to use the lines, the detail lines, and tell me where to line it up because it's not a perfect circle. And I am going to do some coloring on it, so it's not going to be a super big deal if I don't get it lined up perfect. To cut out the center of the donut, I just poked a hole with my pokey tool, and then in a couple different places, and then I didn't quite line that up right, and then I cut it out with my scissors. So one of the reasons I like to cut on the middle of the black line is so that when you go to put it down, try not to be super finicky with it. I have a little bit of the black line showing so that if I want to ink blend, there's not like some ghosting type issues or like white edges around the edges. All right, so now we have our L. And we're going to get this down. And then I did not cut a mask for the teeny tiny little crumbs. I wasn't super worried about that when I ink blend because I can color them. I think I'm going to make that a chocolate donut, and so I can just color that dark. All right, here we go. So we're going to take that out of our Misty because I'm not going to use that anymore. If you haven't gotten a Misty, I highly recommend getting one because it's so much easier to stamp, double stamp. All right, I am going to go ahead. I think we're going to cover these up quick. I'm going to wait on this one, let that dry for just a minute, and cover up the E per se. So I hope everyone's having a great week so far. I'm glad it's Wednesday and hump day and almost the end of the weekend. Looks like we might get some weather Saturday. I was going to go crafting with some friends, but if we get a bunch of snow, I'm not going to go because it's an hour away. But we'll see. I have some stuff I need to finish that I haven't worked on in a while. A virtual camp I had gone to last year that I didn't finish, so. All right, we're not going to go perfect ink blending with this. I just want to add a little color to the background, just for some interest, since we're going to put this on a white card base. And I will be honest with you, I don't remember what paper this is because I used a frame for a card, and I cut out a frame and for a card for next month's release, and this is the leftover inside piece, and I just thought this would be perfect. So, all right, I've got the masks on here. I chose a couple different Simon Hurley inks. They're my favorite inks. I think I have the whole set, or I've got almost the whole set. They're just super fun. They blend really, really well, and they've got great colors. And then I just have a blending brush, and I'm just gonna, I always tap off just a little bit. And I think what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna start right on the masks. We're just gonna add a little color behind. Doesn't have to be super, you could use a stencil, which I might grab a stencil. I have one of the new stencils that just came out for Valentine's Day, and that will be fun to add a little interest to the background. It might be hard to see on camera because this is a very light, this is Rosy Cheeks. I don't use the light ones like Piggyback and Rosy Cheeks that often because I usually go for bolder colors, but I wanted a light color. I don't even know for sure. We're gonna, okay, you can see it. I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna do frosting on all of the donuts. I haven't decided that yet, but I figured we could stamp on those afterwards. And I hope my masking works the way it's supposed to. Let's see, we might add just a little bit of that Piggyback too for just a different color. And since I used Rosy Cheeks, which is a darker color, I'm just gonna wipe my brush off on a microfiber towel and then pick up some of this. Just to, might not make, it's very subtle, but I'm just doing some random color. You can see some of the white is still, you know, it's not a perfect blend, but I think, let me grab one of those stencils. I have both the Change of Heart stencil and the Hugs and Kisses, and I'm going to use the Hugs and Kisses, I think, because I want the focus to be mostly on my stamps. What I do when I have a slimline, a mini slimline, a paper pad, I cut the top off instead of the bottom, and instead of opening the bottom, because I don't have a storage system for my slimline stencils. And then I can pull it out and put it back in, and then I don't have to worry about this sticky piece sticking to stuff. So I think grab Prom Queen. Prom Queen's the next shade, and I'm just going to add a little bit of that. And I need to do some tape. I have some old Thermoweb purple tape here. I'm going to tape it down just so it doesn't move. The stencil doesn't move. Those ink pads out of the way. I know there was some snow. Oh, thanks, Jill. To be honest with you, I learned it off watching somebody on YouTube. I don't remember who it was. I just know that I watched it on YouTube. Someone mentioned that. I think I'm going to use a little washi tape to... I changed my mind. I've got some repositional tape runner. I'm going to stick that to the bottom of my This is just for my stash, so to my thing here, and that's going to keep this from moving around. And then I'll move my stencil. Somebody was using that tip with like their pattern paper, their paper packs, because you know sometimes then your paper gets stuck to that tape and you ruin it, and then you're all sad. Well, somebody did that, and I've been doing that ever since. And then, you know, you can still store them upright, and it works. So we're just gonna do this very lightly. I don't need a deep color, just a little bit, being careful over on the sides here just to give some pattern. See, we got that little bit of pattern. And then I go ahead and line it up, line it up with this X and O. See, it lines up, the pattern lines up. It's hard to see, I think, for you guys without getting too close, but I've got this X and O lined up here and this X here. And I'm gonna just tape that down. And I'm gonna cover up that so it doesn't get any extra ink on it, because I already did that. Oops. My mat is not that clean, so sometimes tape doesn't want to stick to it. I need to clean it really well one of these days. Okay. Here we go. Awesome. Okay. Now the moment of truth. Did I do my masking right? Well, we're going to find out. So I've got my a pick stick here, and I'm going to start with this one because it's the last one I put down. I'm going to peel it off, and I'm peeling it kind of slow too, just in case. And then I'm going to take my stamp set and stick it right on the back. This is the back side. And I'm going to stick it right there. And then it doesn't affect what the stamp is, and I also know now I have a mask for it, that color. And then we'll do this one, because the heart is the last one. And if my mask rips, my mask rips. And I can just throw it away. The one thing I do like about using masking paper over Post-it notes, because I do use Post-it notes, I have a bunch. What is on the back? It's just masking paper. This is just masking paper from Brutus Monroe that I stamped it, and then I cut them. I fussy cut them. Is that what the question was, Annie? Okay. And what I like about masking paper is that it's reusable, where a lot of times Post-it note, like you can get, I have Post-it notes. These are full sticky Post-it notes. You can't always reuse them because they'll get too saturated. But masking paper usually can be used a couple of times, especially if you're just ink blending. If you use medium with them, not usually. And that's one of the nice things. So there we go. It worked. It worked. I did it right. All right. So now's the decision about if we want to use the frostings. I hadn't decided, and so I have them out in masks so we could put them down. I'm thinking we might need to do it on the Long John. And then I do have them. But I'm thinking maybe we'll just do the Long John. Keep these as like cake donuts. And then for this one, instead of the frosting, I have a different, I have some of the sprinkle spread we can use. So I need to go ahead and put this mask back on the O so that we can stamp the frosting on there. If you haven't masked before, it's fun to try. Like I said, it can be nerve-wracking if you're not really paying attention. So the best thing you can try to do is you could take a scrap piece of paper and stamp them all down and then figure out what image you want in the front of everything. Or you could lay them out like I did, and And that's how I figured it out earlier. I just laid them out and said, this is how I think I want it to look. And then I'm like, yep, I want the heart in the front, so that has to be stamped first. All right. Are you guys okay? Hi, Tia, how are you? You guys agree with that? I'm just going to do 2 with the frosting. Are we all good with that? I don't know if I want to do frosting on all of them. I want the V to stand out. Just looking to see if I got it good. Yep, looks good there. I think that'll be good. All right, let's put that away again. And we'll pull this mask off. And there we go. So now we're going to do some coloring. And like I said, the sprinkle spread is going to be on this, so I may end up still using this, but I don't know for sure. We may still stamp that down. Let's get some coloring done first. So now, like I said, I've got the tri-blends. This is the first time I'm actually using them to color anything. And this one is the tan shades. And I think that's the one I'm going to use for my chocolate marker. So if you haven't seen the tri-blends before, they have a light, a medium, and a dark marker all in one. And this is how they come when you buy them. And me being a Copic color, I usually color dark to light. They recommend light to dark, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and color in. It has a bullet point, not a brush, not a chisel. And I'm just going to color them. I know Shannon uses these a lot, and they came up on front. For some reason, they came up when I was on the store last week, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna order those because some of my markers need to be replaced, and I just don't want to spend that much on them. Oh, that's a good tip. Thanks, Angie. I will do that. I did not know that. Angie, any kind of paper? Can I use like copy paper? And I tend to color hard, so I do have sometimes oversaturations. I do find sometimes with alcohol markers, the one like a red will be that way. More than anything. Okay, so this is just a piece of copy paper for an event that's coming up that I'm gonna be doing online, and it's just, I printed off the instructions and it wasn't right, and so I just have it on. I use that stuff for like something like this, or when I'm doing embossing powder. So now I'm going to the dark marker, and I have no rhyme or reason to my shading. I shade how I like it. Now, a lot of times when I'm shading a circular, I'm trying to make something look circular. If you're not a person who does a lot of coloring, I try to color the edges and then go back with the medium and then the dark. Or I mean the light, I'm sorry. And then I finish with the light. So for this little cut piece, I'm not doing a super amount of shading. Sorry, sometimes when I color, I don't. Okay, I want to try it with the one piece first, and then if I feel like it's going to, I will do more than one. Like I said, when I printed that, was freshly printed when I was coloring with that the other day, and I was really coloring hard, and I was overlapping a lot, and so I don't think that it liked that. I tend to be very careful when I color so that I don't have a lot of bleeding in general. Okay. Or I let it dry a little bit and come back to it. So yeah, I'll do one piece and see how that works. So I've got a chocolate donut. I think I'm going to make this one also chocolate. so that it kind of coordinates together. And then we'll do a couple different colors with these, with the lighter colors, the Copic colors, with the other ones. All right, so I got the light again. I do like them. I like the shape. They're easy to hold. I like that they have their, are they hexagon? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hexagonal. So they won't roll if you set them down, which is very nice. I have just enough that I have them stored in this, this is the Daily Markers bin, color. I have one too many to, like, or two too many to zip it shut all the way, but this was made for like transporting alcohol markers, and I got that as a gift from someone, and it's perfect because it just fits. I missed a spot. Okay. I missed it. Oh, okay. I was like, I was like, what did I mean you missed a spot? That happens. Sometimes I leave it just because then when I go to blend, it's a lighter spot too. But I was like, where did I mean I missed a spot? So here, because this one's round, we're just going to go in a little bit on the outside. Oh, that's all right. I just didn't understand because I didn't see a spot that I missed. Sometimes when I get a little quiet. So, has anyone got big fun plans for the weekend? It's almost the end of December, or January. I can't believe it. February is Wednesday next week, which is great. We got a new release. The new subscription products will be out on Wednesday. I'm super excited for next month. This month has been great too. I love, it's been such a fun couple of them. Oh yeah, yes he is. I forgot about that. Okay, so I'm just going over with the medium size marker. I try not to do a lot of coloring during my lives because, you know, not everyone wants to sit and see a color, but I figured this would work because it's just a little bit. And then I don't know if I'm going to put this on the card base today or if I'll put it on tonight or tomorrow because we're going to use some of that sprinkle medium and I want it to dry. So just going over this area again with the lightest color. Okay, so there we got our L and our O and our E. So now I'm going to go ahead and, for my Copics, I have E41, E42, and E43. I just kind of looked over. They're not really the right color for like a glazed donut, though. I might change my mind on these. Maybe I will do this E11. I'm looking at my little chart that I have colored in YR01. We're going to go forward. Yeah, I need a golden, but I'm not sure if I have the right exact color for that right now. See, these are the ones I have in the tri-blends right now. And that's more of a coral color. So I'm going to use one of those for the frosting. So just looking at the colors here. Y32, maybe we'll do Y32. Let's try that. All we can do is try. It's just paper, right? And if I don't like it, we'll make them chocolate. So I'm not going to do a ton of shading on this one because just maybe on the edges to round it out because it's such a small area. So I am going to try to use one of these like E markers. Oh, that one's dried out. See, that's one of the reasons why I'm switching. I think they look like vanilla. That's okay. They can be vanilla. I didn't want them to be all the same color because, you know, when you buy donuts, you don't always buy the same. You know, when you see a big tray of donuts, you don't always get the same. You know, usually there's a big mess of donuts, right? All right. Now, but I do think we need to have pink on the frosting. This one we're going to go ahead and color the whole thing because, oh, thanks, Annie. A lot of my experience with coloring is just what do you like in your eye. Don't be afraid to just try it. I did take a class. I took some Copic coloring classes when I first got them with my local scrapbook store in Cedar Rapids. But I also got the opportunity to take a class with the amazing Kathy Rakusin, who does the Daily Marker Challenge. It's been a while since she's had one, but you can find her on the Daily Marker, and she is big on color plucking, which means just taking some colors and making them match. And that is what I've tried to do. I mean, I try to go, what 2 colors do I think look similar that might rhyme? I'm not too daring yet, where I just choose and make them work. All right. Thanks, Mom. That's one thing that's been about this set. Whenever I've been crafting or some of the other live crafters, we just all start getting hungry for donuts. I haven't had one yet. I almost did. They had my favorites on the day old the other night, and I was like, oh, but I was like, I don't need one. I don't need one. So I think we need to make a pink frosting because this is going to be a Valentine's card. I don't know if I'm going to use this right now, but I have this to put on there. I have it in white too, but I think we're going to do pink. Hi, Shannon. How are you? Thanks for joining us tonight. I did some masking with the donut set, and we're just getting kind of towards the coloring. I've been using my tri blends for the first time. I think I decided I wanted to use, ooh, this is upside down, the magenta, because this is a little too dark, so I'm going to use the magenta. Can you see the white too? What do you mean white? I'm sorry about the white. Oh, yes, I will. Yep, the white. Yep, I'll do that. I cut it out of white because then I thought if anything we could color it with my markers. I'm sorry. I was confused by the white. So I'm going to use the magenta blend, which is this one. And once again, I'm going to go, you know what, Shalana, is that how I say your name? I got them yesterday, so this is the first time I'm using them. I have seen Shannon use them multiple times. I am excited to try the Olos. I'm thinking that you have Little Debbie cakes right now. Oh, Tina, I'm jealous. I haven't had a Little Debbie in a long time, but that's because for me, Little Debbie's are all about the nutty bars. Those are my favorite, or an oatmeal pie. But if I buy them, I will eat the whole box in like 2 days. So, you know, that's necessarily a good thing. Because I don't need to eat all that in 2 days. I just can't. If it's got peanut butter and chocolate together, oh, just don't even go near me because I will eat the whole thing. All right, there's the light, and then I'm going to go with the dark. Because, you know, sometimes I feel like with Valentine cards, you can't have too much pink. It doesn't matter. You can give a pink card to your love, you know, because it's all about love in this stuff. It's kind of like Christmas. You can't have too much sparkle on Christmas. Oops, we got a little bit too much on the over. That's all right. We'll push that back a little bit. Yes, they do. I'm going to push this back just a little bit with the light because there's a little bit more of the colorless blender type in there, so that can push that bright color back. All right. I'm just going to make the light. I skipped coloring the shine marks. I don't know. We're going to find out. You know, this is my first time using them. What do you think, Shannon and Angie? Do the tri-blends cover constantly, or do they have like marker lines? Like, do they blend sort of smooth color? This is, like I said, this is the first time I'm using them. I do know that no matter what, even when I'm using my Copics, I do feel sometimes I have to do them twice to get that smoother line. They feel like they're smooth. It's smoothing out nicely. I'll bring it up closer. Like, I don't feel like I have a lot of marker lines in here. You know, this does, since it does have the bullet nib. Did I just do the dark again? I did the dark again instead of the medium. That's all right. But sometimes I feel like, and then you have to go over it twice. That's just my personal preference. It's like painting. And then I feel sometimes the other options is to do circles right where that line is. And that helps break that up a little bit and smooth out. Does that make sense? Like, I'm super excited how it's looking. It's kind of like ink. Ink is the same way. Sometimes it looks blotchy and you have to walk away and let it, depends on the paper and on how quickly I bring in the colors for you. Okay. Oh shoot, see, I almost did that again. That's the dark. That's okay. We'll make it work. This is the light. And sometimes I find, like, for me, with my Copics, I'm going to try that with this. I need to go back over the dark with the light. I do know that with some colors, it's best to have the light down first because it helps saturate it. Oh, thanks, Shannon. I was trying to figure out what to do tonight because I didn't know for sure. My dies came in, but I wasn't sure if I was going to get them. So I thought, oh, I can do the masking. I haven't masked, I think, since I took your class. How long ago was that for Create Your Own Ending? Can you believe that? I think that's the last time I did some masking. Oh, maybe not. I did do some masking with the Scarecrow stamp last fall. So you go back and forth. I do like my Copics, but I have a lot of Copics that have dried out, and so I got to replace everything, the nib, the marker, or get the refill and the nib. By the time you buy those, it's expensive. You might as well buy a new marker. So like I said, I'm still using them, but I am getting the Olos, and I am excited to try those on Thursday, Friday. I'm going to try to do a video of me using them for the first time, so you can get my reaction and upload it, but I don't know yet if I'll have time for that. So, all right, so we got our L, we got our O, we got our V, and we got our E. Now, what I thought we would do, before we do our wet stuff, let's talk about this U. So, Shannon, I will let you know, I'm so excited. Like I said, they're in Iowa, they're just not here. It's going to depend on if the post office decides they need to go to Cedar Rapids first tomorrow, or if they're going to deliver them. So I have this one, and like I said, this is a die. The company is no longer in, so I just went through my stash to find something because I wanted something smaller, and I found this. So I have this one, and I can go darker, I could go brown, but I thought I also could go with the white. And I am going to take it out, but I'm going to put it back in if we decide to go with a color. So I've got the white, but I think the white is going to be quite bright. We can go with the white because I'm going to put it on a white card base. But I feel like the white is too white. What do you guys think? I'm thinking maybe we'd color it with the pink Sharpie, or the pink tri-blends. What do you guys think? I mean, I can always cut out another one, right? Let's try that. Let's do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, where did I throw that masking tape away? I guess I did. That's what I thought. So I'm gonna, yeah, I was thinking that. I'm gonna just go ahead and try coloring it first, because I mean, I have tons of paper. And I'm gonna stick this back in. I just have some low-tack tape. I'm gonna stick it back in to hold it in place. And then to make it match, we're just gonna use our tri-blends, but I'm gonna use the dark. And actually I have this, the bright pink one too, so we can go darker, but let's just try this first and see what we think. And that way it holds its shape. You could just stick it on some low-tack tape, like a washi tape, but I like putting it back in the die cut. I've seen people do this. I've actually never done it before for myself, but you can ink blend this way. I could make it shiny too, I guess. We could cover it with embossing powder and make it really stick out with a clear embossing powder, so we can make that too. So that was the dark. And we can stack it too. So I don't want to punch the YO out yet, because I want to make sure it's, I'm kind of liking that it matches, but it does fade in a little bit. Sparkle sprinkles. I don't have sparkle sprinkles, but I do, well, I have fairy dust, but I don't know. Shannon, is fairy dust clear? Or is it just shimmery? I can't remember. I haven't used the fairy dust in a while. Let's try it. We'll do the fairy dust. How does that sound? I know it's super shiny. All right, so we still got the pink. Am I gonna see the pink, Shannon, if I use the fairy dust? I know you use that more. Ooh, we almost ruined the whole thing by using the even detail. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and just stamp it with my embossing powder. It's clear with glitter, then that's what we're gonna do. Hi, Nikki, no worries. We're just kind of playing around. I gotta grab it. I don't have that one handy. Fairy dust is one. I use the icicle more because it's a clear. We're gonna go ahead and, oh, did I make it? It's all fuzzy now. See if we can get it to focus on something here. Because I've got that white there. Sorry if it's fuzzy, guys. We'll get that hopefully here. I'm gonna go ahead and dip it in the embossing powder because I don't want to dump it. My paper has embossing ink on it now. All right. And then I'm going to just set that down on my desk and grab my heat tool. And then we'll get some sparkles on. We're going to get some more sparkles on. All right, give me just a second, guys, to heat set this. I'm going to set this right through the center of my O. I knew it was Shannon. I always forget about it. So, all right. So now we got that sparkle. I think that was the perfect. Oh, I'm sorry, Jill. Well, it will be ready live as soon as we got this done. So thanks for coming back. So far we've done our coloring and we did our masking. And I just finished coloring a die cut on the Snowflake Inspiration Box stamps, and it turned so pretty. I've used it a little bit, but I always forget about it. I need to make sure I put this, I might have to put this one in get some more and put this in a container. So we've got this, we've got the Love You. We're gonna go ahead and stick that down. And actually let's stick this down. I was thinking of matting this on some pink paper, but I think I'm gonna leave it on the white background because I want that focal point to be this panel. Like I said, this is just the inside piece to, I used some Slimline rectangle dies to cut out a frame. Which one, Jill, is it? Can you give us the name? Is it the new one that comes in the heart? I don't have that one yet. It's actually in my cart, but I haven't purchased it yet. I think when I placed my order, it wasn't available yet. Okay, no, I have not used that one. Shannon, have you used it yet? I saw Christopher using it, and it's very, very pretty. I am a big fan of embossing powders and just fun ones. A friend of mine got one of the embossing powder mystery boxes a while back, and I was going through her supplies and I was like, oh, I've never seen this one. I've never seen this one. And I think they were the embossing powders of the month. And I was just like, oh, I want to use this one. And I was like, these might just disappear to my house for a while. All right. It's in your cart too. Yeah, I need to probably just get it. Okay. So we've got that. We've got the Love You. So I think we're almost done. I don't want to do a ton more. I'm not going to do a ton of embellishments. Give me just a second. I'm going to put my needle back in my glue. But we are going to use the Mix Media Medium Sprinkle Spread. If you haven't used this before, it's got cleared glitter in it. It's glitter in it, and it's got little clay sprinkles. And what I thought, we're going to do that on the heart. And what I did is I used the die to cut out a little mask. And I know it's a little bit bigger than the heart itself. Jill, I thank you for buying from it. It's great. I love it. To be honest with you, I was just telling somebody about this. I haven't played with anything that isn't Brutus Monroe in so long. It's my favorite stuff. And I think instead of just using it, I'm going to just use this paintbrush and I'm going to push it on because this is going to give it more of a handmade look. And I want to make sure I get a bunch of the sparkle. And then I can go through and grab some sprinkles if I need to throw in there. And I guess you don't have to have the mask, but it kind of helps me keep it myself, you know, organized here, I guess. I can tell you that some of my favorite products, Jill, are the alcohol blend, the Perfect Blend alcohol marker paper. That is one of my favorites. I really like to hoard it only for Copic market coloring, even though it's very good for ink blending. I love the Pearl aqua pigments. That's one of my favorites. I use that for a lot. You can dilute it and paint over things and make lots of sparkle, which we might do that yet here. All right, I think we need a little bit more. That happens, especially if you watch a live at one of Christopher's lives. Then you kind of just start purchasing things. I've done that before, like left and gone to purchase things and come back and then been like, ah. So sometimes I get my cart ready so that I'm like, okay, he hasn't gone live in a little while. I'm gonna get ready because I know he's gonna go live and he's gonna want me to purchase something. All right, so I'm just gonna go in and grab a couple more sprinkles. And like I said, this is gonna take a little while to dry because I'm going a little thick with it. But this is gonna give it a ton of sparkle and dimension. And then I will go to the sink after and rinse these off really good. One tip I want to make sure you guys know is with your gels, keep this piece and make sure you put it on there because it will keep it from drying out. Yeah, that's what happens. So I guess I really didn't have to have that. I was just trying that out. So we've got this, but I think we're gonna add just a little bit more sparkle. I'm gonna add a little bit of sparkle to, that's really weird that my tablet shows it as fuzzy and my others doesn't. I'm going to grab some aqua pigment. Let's see, do I have any here? I do not. It looks like I'm down to 1 bottle, Shannon. I'm going to have to order some. I usually have 3 bottles. So this is the Pearl Aqua Pigment. It's getting low. I'm just going to take a little bit out. I don't need a lot. And this, you can add this to any watercolor to make it shimmery. You can add this to chroma glazes to make them shimmery. And you can paint with it. So I am going to water it down. because I want to have more of it clear, transparent, than I want it to have the white color. I did not, Jill. This is available from Bruce Monroe. It's called the Mix Media Medium Sprinkle Spread. So, and I won't be able to put a link in for it tonight, but I will link tomorrow to all the products that I used tonight. So that is available in the store. I'm not sure if you can go it under. Okay, Shannon, thank you. It might be available if we give me just a second. Hi, Kathy. How are you? I have to tell you, the gnomes you make are super adorable. She crafts some gnomes and they're super, super adorable. All right, so I'm just painting a little bit of the sparkle on this. Like I said, I love the pearl. You don't have to use it straight on. It makes the shimmeriest. It's great for splatter. It's great for anything. But like I said, if you want it just for shimmer, definitely water it down. I am well. So I'm not sure if you can see the sparkle. Let's see here. Let me see if I can turn my phone on. You guys give me a second. And I will show you the shimmer that adds. So that is one of my, and then here is the fairy dust shimmer. Very hard to see, I'm sorry, on camera here. But that is what I love. So, all right. Well, that's all I have for you guys this evening. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks, Jill. You know, it's funny, sometimes when I'm doing a live, I don't really plan. I just kind of get an idea and go for it. But I think one of the fun things to do in your craft room is just to go and play and try and, you know, see what's going to happen and dig through your stash to see what will work with it. Like I said, I had this U die that is, thank you, Kathy. You know, that's an older die. The company isn't around anymore, and it was perfect with this. And, you know, go through your stash and add to the stamps that you have. You know, like I said, think about what you can do with them. I love trying to find different ways to use stamps. Like I said, we're using some artistic license to make this an E. I think if you really wanted to, you could use another piece of that donut to cut out and go backwards with it, and it would make it an E, but I wanted to go this way. So thank you guys very much. I enjoyed this. I am live next Wednesday, and it's February 1st, and I believe I'm going to use the die of the month for February. That is the plan. So thank you for joining me this evening. Don't forget to create something every day, whether it's this great love card, a great Valentine's card with donuts, or your own ending. Please subscribe if you would like to, so you know when we go live. Give us a thumbs up, and I will get links to the stuff in the store tomorrow before noon Central Time. Okay? Have a good night, guys. Bye.